Okay, here's your somewhat quick tutorial on quiz assignments in Google Classroom. So let's create one. First of all, let's come to quiz assignment. Now, before I do that, if you have previously created a form to use as your quiz, what I generally do is this, and then I'm going to go to quiz assignments in a minute. So I go to assignments, I give it a title. Then when I come here to add, when I add something from my drive, I'm going to click on this blank quiz and I'm going to add it. What it's going to do is it's automatically going to switch it to a quiz assignment. So if you already have a quiz made, and I suggest that I usually make my quizzes already, or I use them, every year. I already have them created. When you create a quiz assignment, I'm going to show you in a second, it is going to create a blank quiz for you. Um, in this case, I just created an assignment and I added a quiz I already made, and it turned that into a quiz assignment. All right, so to walk around here just quickly, just like every other assignment, you can click on several classes if you want to assign it to several classes. Give it your point value, give it a due date, give it a topic. Always give things topics. And with this, you can schedule it, save it as a draft, or you can get rid of it. So I'm going to discard this draft. And now I'm going to go back to create a quiz assignment. So when I create a quiz assignment, watch what happens. It looks just like the other thing, but what it did was it created a quiz for me. Now, a couple new things in a quiz assignment, and it's the same as if you add a form to a regular assignment. There's two new things that you'll see. It gives you this lockdown mode option. I would not use the lockdown mode if you are teaching remotely, if kids are at home using devices, because you don't know what devices they're going to use. And lockdown mode generally only works on your school domain devices. And then you have grade importing. Grade importing is awesome. Grade importing means that it will import the scores from your quiz automatically and put them into the kids' grades. So that works really well. I don't always check grade importing because the one thing it does do is it limits, like it says here, it limits each form to one response per user. And for some tests, I only want them to do one response until after I grade them. And then there's other quizzes that I have them do until they get 100%. So sometimes I turn off this grade importing. It will not hurt your quiz, but it will change the settings in the actual quiz. And I'm going to go over those in a minute. So a quiz assignment, this can take me a little bit longer just because it creates an assignment in Google Classroom, but it also creates a quiz for you to use, a blank form. So let's look at a quiz form on and what we need to do. So I'm going to give it a test, or sorry, I'm going to give it some questions. I usually do ask for a period and a name for this, even though you don't really have to. I just do. I make things required. So these first two questions, if you notice, these are things I don't want to have graded. And if you notice, since this form has been turned into a quiz at the bottom, it asks for an answer key. It asks me to do the answer key. And if they're just names on your quiz, I'm not going to give any point value to this. I'm not going to, even though we probably should if a kid doesn't spell their name correctly or puts the wrong name in. But anyway, I'm not going to give any point value to this. And if you wanted to give a point value to it, you'd click on answer key and give it a point value. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. So the first question I want to give a point value to is option one. I go to my answer key and I can change that point value anything I want. I can also give this, and I've been using this a lot lately. I hadn't used it for a while, and I've been using this feedback. So, oops. Right, so I can give whatever feedback that I like. Sometimes I'll give a little hint here. Hey, think about this. Remember we did this, or hey, great job. Again, you can attach here. Also, you can attach a file, a link to a file, and I'm guessing that would be something. Maybe you can attach the vocabulary words or something like that. And you can add a video if you want to. Maybe you have a video of yourself re-explaining a concept. I have not used those two yet, but those seem like pretty good features. I click save, and that answer feedback will be there for them. One thing I need to do since I'm in here is give a correct option. So I only have one option, and it's the correct option. So if you're like, wait a minute, you need to have more than one option on here, not just one. Well, in order to edit this question, I can't be in this mode. I can't be in this answer key mode. So I hit done here. And now I can add option 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. I also suggest that you hit the required button for any question you want them to do. That way, the quiz cannot be submitted until all of the required questions are done. Let's take a look at the settings. Now, this is different than a form setting only because we made it a quiz. So now we have quiz settings as well. But let's look at the general settings. Like I said, when you create a quiz assignment, what's going to happen when you press assign is it is going to change this to limit to one response. And again, if that's what you want, that's totally fine. If you want kids to later on, after they do their first response and you record their grades, come back and be able to edit their assessment, well, you can turn this off or on later. So it doesn't, if you're like, okay, I want to see what you did by Friday, but then Monday, I'm going to open it up and I want you to make corrections, you can uncheck this and it will let them change responses or let them redo the test. Let's look at the quizzes settings. Again, don't turn on the locked mode here. If you want them to get their grade right away, click on that. If you want them to wait, click on that one. Now, the reason why you might want them to wait is because if you have some short answer questions you have to manually correct, you might not want them to get it right away and show like they missed them when you haven't been correcting them yet. You can choose what they see. They can see their missed questions. They can see correct answers. You can see point values. On my tests where I have them redo the test, I generally leave these two checked and uncheck this one. That way they can see which questions they missed. They can see their total, but they can't see the actual correct answers. So if they go back and study, they have to study a little bit to actually get the correct answers. When you're done with all that, you hit save. When you're ready to assign this, it doesn't have a title, so I need to add a couple things. If I go to assessments, there's my due tomorrow assessment. It'll let me know who's turned it in, who it's assigned to. So if I view my assessment, I'm just waiting for these people to finish this test. Once they've taken the test, I import their grades, and that's it. Hopefully this helped.